welcome back to Maniacal Reader. Today I want to show you my December T.B.R. Now I have 11 books on my T.B.R. for December. I know I won't get to all of them, but I want to read everything, and sometimes it's hard for me to decide what to read. So let's just jump right into it. The first book I want to read this month is The Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. This is the first book in a YA fantasy series. I've actually already finished this book, so I'm definitely reading the series this month. Finally, I've had this series on my T.B.R. so many times this year, and I've always put it off. But this month is definitely going to be the month where I read this series. Until now, I had never read a Rick Riordan book before, and this is the series that started it all. I'm glad that I finally did read this book. I ended up giving this book 3 out of 5 stars, but you can hear more of my thoughts in my wrap-up. Naturally, I want to read the sequel, The Sea of Monsters. The third book is called The Titan's Curse. The fourth book is The Battle of the Labyrinth, and the final book in the series is The Last Olympian. The next book that I want to get to is Beautiful Broken Girls by Kim Savage. This was one of the books in my end of the year book tag, as well as the books that I want to read before the end of 2017 video. This book follows a girl named Mira Carrillo, and she sends her best friend Ben notes after her and her sister Francesca committed suicide. And these notes that she gives Ben lead him to discover why Mira and her sister committed suicide. Also, the reason behind their suicide has to deal with an old coach that Ben met years ago. But the sister's suicide is more complicated than Ben ever imagined. So this is a YA mystery standalone, but it does have a heavy, intense contemporary element to it as well. This book has trigger warnings for abuse and sexual assault. So if you're uncomfortable with any of those topics, maybe you shouldn't read this book. But if you're curious as to what this book is about, I've heard this book is amazing, and I'm curious to discover the mystery as it unfolds. So I'm looking forward to getting to this book this month. Those are all of the books that I concretely have on my T.B.R. this month, but of course I would like to get to some others. The first book that I would like to get to is Easy by Tomorrow Ever. This is the first book in her Contours of the Heart series. The fourth book is actually being released near the end of this month, so I'm looking forward to reading this book, and if I like it, I'll binge read the rest in the series. I would also like to get to What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. This is the first book in a YA sci-fi trilogy. I mentioned this book in my T.B.R. Takedown vlog, and this book follows 2 girls named Eva and Addie, and their 2 souls trapped in one body. The premise of this book does sound interesting to me, and I like sci-fi books, so hopefully I like this one. The next book that I'd like to get to is A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. This is a new adult romance standalone, and it follows these 2 people who knew each other in high school, but something happened to them in the past, and they've recently come back into each other's lives in adulthood. I've heard that this book is extremely emotional, and there's a lot of angst and push and pull in this relationship. Jessica over at Peace Love Books really loves Candy Steiner and really loves this book from her. I've had this book on my Kindle for a while, and I would also like to get to this book this month. And the final book that I want to get to is Clipped Wings by Helena Hunting. This is the first book in a new adult romance duology. This was also one of the books in my end of the year book tag, as well as one of the books in my books that I want to read before the end of 2017 video. So hopefully I get to this book, but we'll just have to wait and see. And of course I want to read Inked Armor, which is the sequel to Clipped Wings. I've heard great things about Helena Hunting as an author, so hopefully I like this duology. Those are all of the books on my December T.B.R. Some of the books I'll definitely get to this month, but others are tentative. We'll just have to see what kind of reading mood I'm in this month. Comment down below and tell me what you're reading this month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.